Hey, you. Yeah, you. The one who's always been told to stop overthinking or stop being so deep. Ever felt like you're just a little different from the crowd? Like your mind doesn't quite think like everyone else's? Or maybe you found yourself second guessing your own abilities, wondering, am I actually smart enough to do this? Well, here's the truth. You're probably way more intelligent than you realize, and I'm about to show you exactly why. The thing is, intelligence isn't just about grades, IQ tests, or being able to recite random facts. It's about how your mind works, how you think, how you process information, and how you see the world in ways that the others might not. So if you've ever felt like you were operating on a different wavelength from the people around you, or if you've doubted your own brilliance at times, stick with me. By the end of this video, you'll have a whole new perspective on your intelligence. In fact, there are 12 clear signs that you're much smarter than you give yourself credit for. These aren't the usual signs you'll find in some boring psychology textbook. Nope, these are the subtle, often overlooked traits that reveal just how sharp and capable you truly are, whether you've realized it or not. I know you're probably thinking, but I don't have a PhD, or I'm not a genius like Einstein. And guess what? Neither was he, at least not in the traditional sense. Einstein wasn't born with a special genius gene. He just saw the world differently. He questioned everything, and most importantly, he wasn't afraid to embrace the quirks in his thinking. So today, we're going to dive deep into the 12 signs that show you're way more intelligent than you give yourself credit for. But before we get into it, let me ask you a question. Have you ever thought that maybe, just maybe, your way of thinking is already ahead of the game? If you're ready to find out if you're smarter than you realize, then let's jump right into the first sign. Sign 1. You're always asking why. Think back to when you were a kid. Remember the why phase? Why is the sky blue? Why do we have to sleep? Why do people fall in love? You were that kid who always had a million questions, right? Well, guess what? That curious, relentless questioning is a hallmark of intelligence that often gets overlooked. The more you ask why, the deeper you're diving into the subject at hand, and the more complex your thinking becomes. Highly intelligent people don't just accept things at face value. They dig deeper, seeking to understand the underlying reasons behind everything. Whether it's questioning a popular belief, exploring the why of human behavior, or wondering why the world works the way it does, that curiosity isn't just about being nosy. It's a sign that your brain is always seeking out new knowledge, pushing you to think critically and understand more than what's immediately apparent. So, if you find yourself constantly asking, why, instead of just going along with the flow, congratulations. You're showing a level of intelligence that many people miss simply because they're not asking those important questions. Sign 2. You're introspective and reflective. Ever catch yourself in the middle of a deep thought, analyzing past experiences, decisions, or conversations? If you often find yourself reflecting on your actions and looking for lessons in your own mistakes and successes, you might be more intelligent than you give yourself credit for. Introspection isn't just daydreaming or getting lost in your thoughts. It's a powerful way to actively learn from your experiences, understand your emotional triggers, and develop a better sense of self. Smart people often do this automatically because they know that understanding themselves leads to understanding the world around them. Introspection helps you spot patterns in your behavior, refine your decision-making process, and gain clarity on things that others might overlook. It's like having a mental toolkit for personal growth. If you're the type to analyze what went right or wrong and how you can do better next time, then your intelligence is already at work, guiding you through the complexities of life. Sign 3. You think in multiple perspectives. Have you ever found yourself in a conversation where someone says something and you instantly start to think of all the angles? You know, the what-if scenarios, the pros and cons, the hidden motives. It's like your brain doesn't just accept information. It picks it apart and spins it into 1,000 possible outcomes. This ability to think in multiple perspectives is a sign of deep intelligence. It means your mind is constantly evaluating, adapting, and considering different viewpoints. While others might take things at face value, you're the one who sees the bigger picture, the nuance behind the surface level story. It's not just about being a good problem solver either. It's about being able to understand others, empathize with different viewpoints, and even foresee potential outcomes. That's next level thinking. When you can analyze things from various perspectives, you gain insights that others might miss, and you become better at navigating the complexities of life. What's more, this ability to view things from different angles shows that you're a critical thinker, the kind of person who doesn't just accept things at face value, but asks, is there more to this? What's the deeper meaning here? Sign 4. You enjoy solitude, but not out of boredom. Okay, we've all heard the phrase lonely genius, but it's not about isolating yourself out of a sense of being misunderstood. It's about loving your own company, because that's when your mind gets to roam free. If you find that some of your best ideas, moments of clarity, and bursts of creativity come when you're alone, then you're likely a person of high intelligence. For intelligent people, solitude is not a punishment. It's a sanctuary. It's a place to think deeply, reflect, and come up with ideas that others might miss. It's where you recharge and allow your mind to explore possibilities without distractions. Now, don't get me wrong. Being alone doesn't mean you're antisocial. You might have an amazing group of friends or a family you love, but for you, solitude isn't lonely. It's necessary. It's where your mind can wander freely, where the clutter of the world fades, and where you can dive deep into the thoughts and ideas that get lost in the hustle and bustle of everyday life. It's this balance, the need for introspection, combined with your ability to engage with the world around you, that marks the intelligence of someone who knows that true creativity and growth come from within, but are constantly fueled by the world outside. Sign 5. You're comfortable with ambiguity. You know those moments when the world around you feels like it's in flux, when things don't make sense, or when you don't have all the answers to a question or problem? Most people freak out. They scramble for certainty, desperate for a clear-cut solution, something solid they can grab onto. But you're not that person. You get it. You've learned that the world isn't black and white. It's messy, unpredictable, and often without clear-cut answers. And guess what? You're perfectly okay with that. Being comfortable with ambiguity is a sign of advanced cognitive function. It means you've mastered the art of sitting with the unknown without letting it paralyze you. You don't have to know everything all the time, and you're not afraid of complexity or mystery. In fact, you embrace it. When others feel frustrated by uncertainty, you calmly explore the possibilities and let your mind roam freely. This openness to ambiguity allows you to think in more nuanced ways, to consider multiple viewpoints, and to innovate, especially when others are stuck. This ability isn't just about being okay with confusion. It's about having the intellectual maturity to understand that not everything can or should be neatly explained or understood. Sometimes, the beauty is in the process of discovery, not the destination. Sign 6. You often find yourself rethinking things after the fact. Ever had one of those moments where something happens and later you realize you didn't quite get it at the time? Or maybe, after a conversation, you replay it in your mind and see things from a different perspective? It's like your brain is constantly reanalyzing, processing, and refining its understanding of past events. This tendency to reconsider and reframe your experiences isn't a sign of insecurity. Far from it. It's a hallmark of a highly intelligent mind. People who are truly intelligent are never satisfied with surface-level answers. They constantly revisit their thoughts and experiences to see if they missed something important. Maybe a piece of the puzzle didn't fit at first, but now, with a bit more context, it clicks. This process of reflection allows you to learn not just from your mistakes, but from every experience. It's like your mind is a sponge, soaking up information and making connections you may not have seen at first. You're not just memorizing facts. You're building an understanding, piece by piece, revisiting old information with new insights. It's an ongoing evolution of thought. And don't worry if this tendency leads you to overthink sometimes. Overthinking isn't always bad. It means you're taking the time to understand situations deeply, and that's how growth happens. Sign 7. You're always connecting the dots. Do you have this ability to link seemingly unrelated ideas together? Like when you're reading a book, watching a movie, or even just talking to someone, your mind starts to make connections, sometimes between things no one else would think of. You might hear a piece of news, and in your mind, you start piecing together how it relates to something you read years ago. Or you might suddenly see a connection between two topics that no one else seems to notice. This is a hallmark of high-level intelligence. It's the ability to make abstract connections and see patterns where others see chaos. When you're able to connect ideas from different domains, be it history, science, philosophy, or even pop culture, you're not just thinking deeply, you're thinking expansively. This is a sign that your mind is constantly working in the background, drawing on your broad knowledge base and synthesizing ideas in new and creative ways. While others might see isolated pieces of information, you see a bigger picture. You understand that the world isn't made up of silos. It's an interconnected web of ideas, and you can tap into that web effortlessly. Sign 8. You're not afraid of failure. Here's a big one. If you're the type of person who isn't afraid to try, fail, and then try again, you're probably more intelligent than you realize. You see, intelligence isn't just about knowing facts or solving problems quickly. It's about how you handle setbacks. Most people let failure stop them in their tracks, but you see failure as part of the learning process. You embrace it as an opportunity to grow. When you're truly intelligent, you understand that every misstep or mistake is just a lesson waiting to be learned. You know that success isn't a straight path. It's a winding road filled with bumps and detours. So instead of getting discouraged or feeling defeated, you bounce back, reassess the situation, and adjust your approach. This resilience is a key marker of intelligence. Being able to take risks, fail, and then learn from those failures isn't just about having confidence. It's about having the wisdom to know that failure doesn't define you. It's simply a stepping stone toward greater understanding. Sign 9. You're self-aware and reflective. One of the clearest signs of intelligence is the ability to self-reflect. While others may be content to coast along, you're often thinking about your thoughts, actions, and emotions. Why did you react that way in that situation? How could you have handled that conversation differently? This kind of introspection may seem like overthinking to some, but in reality, it's a mark of a highly intelligent mind because you're constantly learning and evolving. Self-awareness isn't just about knowing what you're good at. It's about understanding your weaknesses, your triggers, and your patterns. This deep sense of self-reflection leads to personal growth and allows you to improve on a level that many people miss. By regularly examining your experiences, you fine-tune your behavior and sharpen your decision-making skills. This ability to observe your own thoughts and actions and learn from them is a trait often associated with emotional intelligence, and it's a sure sign that you have more depth than you might realize. Sign 10. You can't stand small talk. Have you ever found yourself zoning out during a conversation about the weather or what someone had for lunch? If you find yourself gravitating toward deeper, more meaningful conversations rather than superficial chatter, you might be more intelligent than you think. Intelligent people are often driven by curiosity about the world around them, and small talk just doesn't satisfy that curiosity. They prefer conversations that dive into ideas, philosophy, culture, science, anything that pushes the boundaries of knowledge. While this doesn't mean they can't engage in casual talk, it's more about the fact that their minds crave substance. If you're the type who finds small talk draining, and you'd rather explore the bigger questions or dive into more intellectually stimulating discussions, it's a sign that your brain is wired for deeper thinking, and that's often a marker of intelligence. Sign 11. You're not afraid to challenge your own beliefs. Have you ever found yourself questioning long-held beliefs, values, or assumptions? It might feel uncomfortable at first. After all, we like to think we have the answers, that we know who we are and what we stand for. But truly intelligent people don't just accept their beliefs because they're familiar or comfortable. They interrogate them. Maybe you've had moments when you've caught yourself in a heated debate or an intense conversation and thought, maybe I don't have all the answers. Maybe there's another perspective I haven't considered. This self-awareness, the willingness to question your own thoughts and ideas, is a hallmark of intelligence. It shows a growth mindset, one that understands that learning isn't about proving you're right. It's about being open to the possibility that you could be wrong, and then evolving based on new information. In fact, it's that very openness to change that sets you apart from others. While many people are stubbornly attached to their beliefs, you embrace the idea that knowledge and wisdom can and should shift as you encounter new insights. You don't fear change, you welcome it. Sign 12, you're always evolving, never stagnant. Here's the thing, you don't settle for mediocrity. You're always looking for ways to improve yourself. Maybe it's refining your skills, challenging yourself with new projects, or even pushing your personal boundaries. You understand that growth doesn't happen by chance. It happens through intentional effort. You might be constantly reading new books, learning a new language, or exploring a hobby that excites you. You're not afraid to step outside of your comfort zone, even when it feels uncomfortable or uncertain. And because of this, you're always evolving. You're not static. Your mind, your abilities, your emotional intelligence, they're all in a state of continuous growth. What's unique about you is that you embrace this process of change. While others might fear the idea of failure or of being stuck in one place, you see every setback as a learning opportunity. You understand that evolution doesn't happen overnight, but through consistent effort, introspection, and a willingness to embrace new challenges. You might not even realize it, but you're constantly shifting, improving, and becoming the best version of yourself. It's this drive to evolve and better yourself that reflects an intelligence far beyond what most people acknowledge in themselves. The fact that you're always striving to improve, no matter how small the change, shows that you are more intelligent than you give yourself credit for. Conclusion: keep growing. So there you have it, 12 signs you're way more intelligent than you might have thought. Maybe you've recognized a few traits in yourself, or perhaps this has been an eye-opening journey of self-discovery. But here's the most important thing to remember. Intelligence isn't about grades or IQ tests. It's not just about being the smartest person in the room. It's about how you engage with the world, how you think critically, how you grow, and how you evolve. You don't have to fit into a narrow mold of what intelligence looks like, because, as we've seen, intelligence comes in many forms. It's not about having all the answers, but about having the curiosity to ask the right questions, the courage to challenge your own beliefs, and the drive to keep learning and growing. If you found that you recognize yourself in many of these signs, celebrate it. You're not just smart, you're the kind of intelligent that pushes boundaries, seeks deeper meaning, and constantly seeks to better understand the world around you. So next time you feel like you're overthinking or wondering if you're as smart as others might think, remind yourself, you are. And the fact that you can recognize these signs in yourself is proof that your intelligence is not just something you have, it's something that defines who you are. Keep questioning, keep learning, and most importantly, keep embracing the power of your own mind. You're smarter than you think, and the world needs your unique perspective.